Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to another day of movement meditations. Sorry, I'm half an hour late this morning. Today, I'd like to kind of follow on with what we've been doing this week, but it's going to be a little bit more of a subtle lesson. Maybe more internal or more smaller movement. So initially, I'd just like you to find a comfortable place to sit. As in the previous days, we will be doing a tiny bit of movement with the pelvis, but it's actually going to be more focused on the head and the relationship between the head and the jaw. So I don't know how people have been finding the series this week, if they've been finding this connection. It would be great to hear your feedback as well. What I'd like to do today is kind of follow on from what we've been doing and begin to integrate the eyes in the process. So the eyes are a massive subject. If you think developmentally, to do with how a baby kind of learns to use their body, to maneuver around the space that they live in, the eyes are a really important aspect of that process. So as the baby is learning to move, the direction of movement is often led, or is normally led, by the direction of the eyes. So we move in relation to where we're looking, at the beginning of our life. Maybe we develop skill later on and we can move in other directions away from where we're looking. But at first, it's very much like, I want that thing over there, or there's something over there that's interesting, and I'm going to move towards it. So the eyes are a really important aspect of movement. So with that being said, what I'd like you to do is just close your eyes. And as you close your eyes and you diminish the amount of light coming into the eye itself, that produces a state of relaxation in the eye. The eye's doing less work, it's processing less information. So that's a good initial starting point. Morning, Kathy. And as you sit there and you close your eyes and you relax your eyes, just see if you can kind of bring your attention to your breathing a little. Notice how you're breathing in this, how your breathing is this morning. What the speed of your breathing is. Where in your body are you noticing your breath? And just as you're doing that, maybe bring your attention very gently to these two areas that we've been working on this week, the jaw and the pelvis. And just kind of sort of as you bring your attention to those areas, just feeling whether there's any tension, whether there's what's the internal feeling you have in those two areas. Good. And feeling how you're sitting on the floor, whether your feet are on the ground or off the ground. How supported do you feel by your pelvis, by your spine? Okay. So now what I'd like you to do is, keeping your eyes closed, begin to take your eyes from where they are. If you pick a point on the wall in front of you, again, with your eyes closed, so it's an imaginary point. And then I'd like you to begin to trace a line upwards through the midline. So a horizontal line, vertical line upwards. And just do that like to where feels comfortable. So with your eyes closed, following with the eyes up this vertical line in front of you, and then back down to the kind of neutral point, the middle point. And just do that movement a few times, very slowly, seeing if you can notice as you take your eyes up, are there points that the movement of the eyes kind of skips over? Or can you, by doing it slow enough, make it a really smooth movement of the eyes up and then back down to the middle? And I'll just give you a moment or so to kind of do that a few times. And does that feel like an easy movement? Is that something that feels natural to you? It's quite possible that after all the hours we spend looking down at our laptops or computers or mobile phones, that looking upwards feels a little bit unfamiliar. So just feel kind of in the rest of you as you're making this movement, this small, subtle movement of the eyes just going upwards in this vertical line and downwards back to the middle. Just feel how the rest of you is kind of processing that movement. Good. And then take a small rest. Take a small rest. Rest your eyes. And just come back to the feeling of your breathing. Again, you can feel where in the body is moving as a result of the mechanism of breathing or the process of breathing. And feeling your contact on the chair. Good. And so now what I'd like you to do is, when you're ready, begin to take the eyes upwards again along this vertical line, but at the same time, begin to tilt your head a little backwards. So now you're integrating the eyes with the head movement. So as you take the eyes upwards along the vertical line through the midline of the body, imagining that vertical line in front of you on a wall in front of you, just allow the head to tilt very slowly backwards. And then as the eyes come back, allow the eyes to come back to neutral as well. Okay, so just do that movement a few times, integrating this head, kind of nodding movement with the movement of your eyes going up and back to the middle. See if you can take as much time or give as much attention to the process of coming back as you do to the kind of outward aspect of the movement. So one isn't preferred over the other. Taking your time, and notice, do you breathe in as you do that movement, or do you breathe out? What does it feel natural to you to do? So as you do that, just try both options. As you take your head back, try breathing in. And your eyes go up along the vertical line in front of you with your eyes closed. Again, just doing it really slowly, really gently. And a few times, once you've done it, breathing in with that movement, try it breathing out and see if that makes a difference to the movement. Can you feel that one of those is easier, or do you feel if one of those is easier, breathing in or breathing out with that movement? So whichever one feels better to you, stick with that option. Stick with the option that feels better. Good. Okay, and take a rest. Bring your eyes back to normal. So again, as we've kind of been talking about this week, is this sense of disturbing the kind of the balance or the equilibrium of the body by taking the head backwards. We're coming slightly off balance, and by coming back, we're bringing ourselves back into balance. But maybe as we're doing this movement, we're noticing a new balance point. So as you come back, just take a moment to like feel how you feel, how your body's organized. And just as you sit there now with your eyes closed, feeling your breathing, can you just begin to open your jaw? Just slowly open your jaw. Only open it the amount that feels comfortable, and then bring it back to the kind of neutral closed position. Relaxed but closed. And just do that movement a few times. Opening the jaw and closing the jaw. Again, notice as you open and close the jaw, if you can do it slow enough. Firstly, if you can do it slow enough that it can be a smooth movement, the whole process, opening and closing. But also notice if it's easier for you to breathe in or breathe out, or it feels more comfortable for you to breathe in or breathe out as you open the jaw. Good. Do it a couple more times. Somewhere between 5 and 10, sort of opening and closing the jaw. Notice as you open and close the jaw each time, just paying attention to it, feeling the smoothness, the comfort of the movement. Does it change how the jaw opens each time? So is each repetition slightly different to the one before it because you're bringing your attention to it? Good. Okay, take a little rest. So for those people that are just joining, we're just doing some very kind of gentle, slow movements with the head and the jaw, just as a way of kind of integrating everything that we've been doing this week thus far. Good. So now again, a few times, close your eyes, have your eyes in the neutral position. No problem. Thanks, Kathy. Have your eyes in the neutral position, kind of looking in front of you, and then follow this vertical line up. And don't move your head this time. Don't move your head. So just do this movement with your eyes up on the wall in front of you with your eyes closed, and then back down to the midpoint, neutral position. And just feel how that feels now. Does it feel different from the beginning of the lesson? Is it a smoother process for you? Taking the eyes up and bringing the eyes down. And what does your breathing do as you do that? Do you breathe in or breathe out? Or is it easier to breathe in or breathe out? Good. And then a few times begin to integrate the head in the movement. So now the eyes and the head are looking up. So the head, as it comes up, it tilts backwards, and comes back down. And maybe you can feel that the place just underneath the skull, where the spine meets the skull, is very much involved in this movement. So as the eyes look up, following this vertical line, can you feel how the skull kind of tilts back on that highest vertebra of the spine? This nodding movement is very much, in terms of the movement of the head, is very much done in this first joint between the top vertebra and the skull. So maybe you can feel that. As you do that movement, see whether you breathe in or breathe out as you go up with the eyes, and what you do with the breath as you come down. And maybe try both variations just so that you can feel what's more comfortable for you. Good. And the next time you do it, what I'd like you to do is begin to open your jaw at the same time as you take your eyes upwards. So again, the eyes and the head are integrated, and the head is tilting backwards as the eyes look up the vertical line that you're imagining on the wall in front of you. And the same time as you look up and let the head come backwards, you're going to allow the jaw to open an equivalent amount that the eyes go upwards. So you're coordinating those two things, the eyes going up and the jaw opening and then coming back. And just do that movement a few times and see if you can really find the coordination of the amount of effort that you're using to take the eyes up and the amount of effort that you're using to open the jaw. So it's kind of coordinating two different aspects of your body. Again, seeing if you can keep some attention on your breathing. No problem. And as you do this movement and you feel your jaw opening, as you tilt your head backwards and your eyes come up, can you feel that place, just that junction between the top vertebra and the skull, and how this kind of tilting backwards movement is happening in that area? Because you're taking so much time and you're taking kind of care of the movement and the process, you can kind of explore the ability of this part of us, part of the skull and where it meets the spine and the upper spine. And maybe these aren't areas of ourselves that we spend much time thinking about, but they're incredibly important. You know, we use them throughout every part of our daily activities. And notice as you tilt your head backwards, the further back you go comfortably, not going outside your comfortable range, but the further back you go, does it make it easier for you to open your jaw? Does it feel like a natural process to open the jaw at the same time as taking the head backwards? Can you really let the jaw go? Like let it kind of hang as you tilt the head backwards. Can it hang open in some way? Like letting go of all the effort that you're using to hold the jaw together, just really letting it go. And maybe that takes time because we do hold a lot of tension with the jaw, but just continue it bit by bit, slowly. Again, feel your breathing. And maybe you become aware as you do this movement of more of you being involved than just the kind of small area that we're paying attention to. Is there any sense that you're moving, as with the previous lessons this week, that there's some movement down in the pelvis? That the organization of the pelvis, how it's kind of relating to the chair beneath you, changes as you tilt your head backwards and your jaw opens. Again, see if you can kind of keep the speed with your breathing. And maybe you can allow your attention to travel down the length of your spine. As you continue to do this movement, tilting your head backwards, your eyes coming up the vertical midline, and your jaw opening, can you trace down through the rest of your spine? And see how this movement relates all the way down through the spine and into the pelvis. One of the people in the comments, Colette, she mentioned correlation between the SI joint, the sacroiliac joint, the joint between the two iliums of the pelvis, and the sacrum. So there's a joint in between the two, and she mentioned a relationship between that and the jaw. And that wasn't a relationship I had heard of before. So I spent some time thinking about it and kind of where I've come down on in terms of that relationship is the relationship between this top vertebra and the skull and the sacrum and the ilium. So maybe I'll use the skeleton to describe that afterwards. But as you do that movement and you tilt your head backwards, can you feel some kind of relationship between the organization of your sacrum, the bottom bit of the spine, where it runs down, kind of joins in with the pelvis and then runs down into the tailbone, and this movement of the skull? And just keep opening the jaw very slowly, spending as much time as on the opening movement as you do on the closing movement. Hopefully your breathing will be really nice and soft now. And what does your belly do? As you tilt your head backwards and you open your jaw, does your belly come forwards? Do you keep it held in? Does it support the movement or does it restrict the movement? Good. Keep doing that movement with the eyes up the vertical line, allowing that to tilt the head backwards, opening the jaw at the same time, and then coming back. Okay, and take a rest. Take a rest. That was quite a long little exploration. So, as I was saying at the beginning of the week, for me, I think this relationship is very much to do with our sense of fear and the contraction that we have to do with our sense of fear. And that has a big relationship with balance. So, this sense of balance that we are kind of working with at the moment, how the head rests on the spine and how the rest of the spine integrates down into the pelvis, is a fundamental kind of mechanism for balance. So as we're exploring it, we're kind of investigating our own sense of balance and seeing where we can feel easy, kind of slightly out of balance, back in balance. And in some way that gives us the ability or the opportunity to let go of some of the tension or fear mechanisms that we've developed because we feel out of balance or because we feel unsafe. So working with these two areas, the relationship between the neck and the head and the pelvis and the connection down into the ground is really key for this sense of safety through the structural system or because of the structural system. And when you have that sense of safety, when you really feel that in your structure, then the muscles of the body will relax. So I hope that that is palpable or like tangible to you guys after that lesson. Yeah, we're going to continue. Got another couple of days left of this little series, and I will. Also, I want to teach another lesson from last week's series because I think I missed one. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments. If you, throughout the rest of your day, if you kind of, notice your head position, if you want to explore this movement a little bit, think about your relation or think or feel about your relationship down through your spine and into your pelvis. That can be a really worthwhile thing to do throughout the day. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Again, there's a link to previous lessons in the description. There's also a link to my PayPal account if you want to make a donation. I think this weekend I won't be teaching a lesson on Saturday, and I'll continue to kind of say that, but I'll write a little message as well. But what I think I will do is I'll release one of the lessons that I've done previously, either as a video or as audio, so that people have a nice lesson to do on Saturday afternoon anyway. So yeah, if you have any recommendations, if you want to do something specific, let me know and I'll see what I've got available. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow morning back at the normal time of 11 UK time. Okay, thanks very much for watching and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.